You know what they say, idle hands are Polarium's plaything. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends. We are here on my main account, but honestly, this is not going to matter. We're going to talk about things that you can do when there's not a major event going on. And specifically, when I'm talking about not a major event, I am talking about generally the fusions that we have to deal with. We've got the fusions, the fragment summons, whatever you want to call them. Basically, when there is an event going on where you have multiple different tournaments and events that you need to do to get some sort of major reward, well, then there's something major going on. But sometimes you're skipping a fusion, sometimes you're not doing a Titan event. And like right now, other than we have this wonderful event to go for the champion training for Lydia, and as you can see here, I am not competing in this. I am currently in the top 6, but these 3 people here are well beyond any points I would even want to put up, let alone could put up. So yeah, it's a great time to spend some time to focus on your account. But what exactly should you be doing during these downtimes? Well, let's talk about a couple of ideas on things that you can do to improve your account overall while not wasting this precious, downtime. So first of all, I do want to point out that despite the fact that there are not specific events that you need to complete, there are still plenty of tournaments that may be interesting for your account. I mean, we've talked again about the champion training tournament. That's actually a pretty cool one if you want to. We regularly have these Sand Devil turn attacks or these ascend items where you can get things like these prism crystals or these prism shards. Now, I don't think these prism crystals are worth an awful lot, but at the same time, farming Sand Devil is something I should be doing anyway. So hey, this is a good time as any to do some farming for Sand Devil. Ice Golem may be worthwhile, maybe not. I mean, some of these rewards are not too horrible. And if there's a set that's actually going to be available in Ice Golem, like right now there is Reflex set available in Ice Golem. Hey, Reflex set is actually pretty decent, so maybe I might actually want to farm some Ice Golem. Or maybe I realize I need some better Provoke gear. Hey, if Provoke's available, that's a good set for me to go for in this dungeon as well. So there are reasons to farm some of the dungeons just because of the events are out there, and sometimes it's just, there's an event. On top of that, for a lot of the end game players, Sand Devil and Phantom Shogun are the 2 dungeons you're probably going to be living in the most for quite a while, because ascending your gear is generally the next step to getting your account into a super highly competitive level. That is what you're going to need to do when you want to get the most out of Chimera, when you want to get the most out of Hydra, the most out of Live Arena. You need to ascend your gear. So Sand Devil becomes very, very powerful to do because you're getting this chaos dust here, but you're getting your superior oils to take things all the way up to 6 stars. And that's actually really, this chaos dust is probably the most important thing you can farm, which is why you really do want to try to get to stage 25 if you can. The ability to re-roll your ascensions makes you turn any piece into an amazing piece. And eventually you won't have to do it, but you will have to do it for quite a few pieces. Now, Shogun, also a good one to run because again, you can get some decent ascensions. The big problem with Shogun compared to Sand Devil is that Sand Devil you'll use on 6 pieces versus 3, and the bottom pieces of your artifacts ascend to better stats than any of the other pieces as well. So your banner ascensions, not quite as important as your boot ascensions, for example, or your chest ascensions, or your glove ascensions, especially for nukers. Amulet ascensions, honestly, for nukers, very important. That extra 12% crit rate is actually worthwhile, or crit damage, I should say. But overall, you're going to find yourself probably running a little more Sand Devil than you are going to run Phantom Shogun. But both of them are very good things to run when, hey, you're not really forced to do something that you have to do. So you don't have to go over to Fire Knight because the game says you have to do Fire Knight to get points for a fusion. One of the things that a lot of people miss in Raid is how powerful, masteries are. Masteries are extremely, extremely powerful. They add, I think I calculated it once, but you can add somewhere between 20 to 40% more damage simply by putting masteries on a champion. You can add additional accuracy. You can add additional HP. You can really and truly improve the performance of your champions in a significant and meaningful way by running mastery. So do not underestimate how long you're going to use the masteries and how much you're going to farm. And you know what? I've got right now, I've got 4,000 gems. I've got some champions that maybe could use some masteries. Hey, let's dump 500-ish gems, maybe 540 gems, and let's get masteries done on a single champion. Or maybe we'll get them on 2 champions and spend about 1,000 gems. You know, I've got other energy coming in as well, so maybe I'll kind of let it go a little more passive. But this is a good time to do it because you could still get the champion training experience points for them. You can still level up the champions, even if you're not doing champion training. And to be fair, champion training in Minotaur is probably not a great idea, but as far as champion training points, but it's still a good idea overall for the efficiency of your account. I generally will take a champion, level them up to 6-star level 30, and then finish from level 30 all the way to level 60 in Minotaur if I'm only running one of them. If I'm running 2 of them, I might run them straight from 6-star all the way up, gets them to level 55, 56-ish in most cases. And then maybe I brew them up, maybe I run them in some other content before they get up to level 60. It will really depend on the champion and depend on what I'm doing with them. But it's a great way to level your champions up. It's a great way to improve your champions. And honestly, it is a great power up to get these masteries on your champions. So you need to do it at some point in time anyway. So times like this, when you're not anything, when there's an event that you can choose to ignore or events that you are not bound to, well, this is one of the best times to get some of the things that will give your account more power than honestly just about anything else. And here's the thing about mastery. Masteries are really the only way to get guaranteed power. You have level, you have ascensions, and you have masteries. Gear is not guaranteed power because you are not guaranteed to have a particularly good piece of gear. Now you eventually will, and at some point in time, you're going to pull something that's usable. But farming for gear is farming for the hope that something might get better. Pulling a shard is the hope that you might get something that might get you better. Masteries are concrete improvements in your champions, just like leveling them up is increased in stats, just like ascensions is increased in stats, and just like booking champions is an increase in what they do and how they do it. So masteries should be there just with booking champions and just with leveling champions up and just with ascending champions as things that you need to do to get guaranteed power-ups. Now, this is something you should always be doing anyway, and that's Iron Twin. We talked about the other guaranteed power-ups. Well, souls are a guaranteed power-up as well. Problem with souls being a guaranteed power-up is you are not guaranteed the soul. So once you get the soul, it's a guaranteed power. So buying these souls, farming this stuff, or getting this stuff to be able to buy souls through the shop, very important. So make sure you're doing your Iron Twins. But you honestly should be doing that even when you're doing everything else during a fusion anyway. Now, Curse City is a thing. And again, Curse City has lots of really good rewards, so you probably should be doing Curse City anyway. But right now, when there's not a lot of time pressure to farm specific dungeons, or maybe, now might be a time for you to actually go into Curse City and say, hey, I'm struggling with this floor right here. Like, as you can see, I am struggling with this floor right here. Maybe I can build some of these champions out now that I have time and effort and I don't need the resources for something else. Maybe I can start investing in training some of these champions up. So it might be champion training for a champion I haven't built yet that is available for this particular floor. Or maybe it's just going to be, maybe I can spend some time doing the gear and running them because there's a lot of RNG in some of these floors, honestly. So maybe I can spend the time to run these floors that are difficult for me. And if not, then I'm going to go back and find one of these floors that's super easy for me and just run it on auto, and that's fine too. But now is a good time to spend dealing with some of these events. Live Arena is another worthwhile time investment for some people. But to be fair, I understand why people think Live Arena takes too much time. Well, if you don't have to dedicate too much time for doing other things, well, then maybe you might run a little more Live Arena than you might otherwise have run. You do get some free Live Arena in Centranos if you're doing Centranos at a high level. And if you're not, then, you won't have a lot of extra keys, but you can certainly run a few extra keys, get some of your additional Live Arena medals up. Those can be very, very helpful for increasing your Great Hall for stat increases that will help you everywhere in the game. So those stat increases are very valuable. Hydra is a very good place for it. Curse City can be a very good place for those. Faction Wars Hard will certainly be a very good place for those as well. That's obviously the newer piece of hopefully somewhat evergreen content is getting Faction Wars Hard in. So, focus on improving your account in places where you need some help, by using some of your gold arena keys, because they will prove to be continually useful. On top of that, there's good gear you can get in live arena. And honestly, sometimes it's actually kind of fun to use some of your champions in that live arena to beat on people and to learn what's the best way to use some of these champions and figure out interesting new ways to use some of them as well. If live arena is really not your thing, well, you know what? This is a good time to at least try it a couple times and kind of see if you can make it your thing or not. Sometimes it takes just a little while to get into it. And you know what? And sometimes it's not going to be for everybody, but it's as good a time as any when there's less time pressure for looking at live arena. Before you watch the video any further, did you know you can use the link down below and start a brand new raid account and get 2 amazing epics? You can get Rector Drath. You'll get her right from the start, right after the tutorial. And once at level 15, you will get yourself an Ugo. Rector Drath is an amazing support reviver. She will heal your team. She will give you perfect veils to protect you. She will throw decrease attack up there. And she has a revive, making it very easy to get through in the early game. And then on top of that, Ugo, you get at level 15 again, is a wonderful support champion. She does decreased defense, she does block buffs, she does healing, she does cleansing. She is an absolute great champion. Very helpful early game, very helpful at end game. They are very good champions in Hydra. They are very good champions all over the game. I use them regularly on every account that I work on. They are great champions and you can get them for free. But not only that, but in the first 72 hours of your account, you can use code Monkey King to get Sun Wukong, or you can use Supreme 6 to get yourself a Supreme Gallic. Both are amazing legendaries. Supreme 6 is a void legendary, so go for Gallic, I suspect. But you know what? Either one of them is absolutely amazing. Start a brand new account today. The steps are very easy. Log out of your Polarium Play account on PC or simply uninstall Polarium Play. Create a brand new account using the link. Download from there, run the install. It'll start up Polarium Play, and boom, there's your new account. If you are on Android or iOS, if you've never played before, you can download using my link and get the same benefits as well. It is an absolutely amazing way to start a brand new account, be it a free-to-play, be it a high-spend account, whatever you want to do. It helps support me, it helps get you into the game, and it's a great way to have some fun. Now let's get back to the video. Don't want to delve into live arena? Honestly, now is as good a time as any to reinvest in some of these dungeon teams. Now, sometimes it's nice to invest in a dungeon team when you're going to be running it. So like maybe I'm struggling in Ice Golem on the account. So maybe, hey, I want to run and I want to get this gear. Let's see how high I can push my Ice Golem team just to run and try to get that kind of gear. Or sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, I've actually got time now, so I don't have to worry about farming at the highest efficiency. So now I can try to push my teams a little bit further to see if maybe I can make a better stage a little more efficient. And in that particular case, we're probably talking about maybe getting further on in hard mode, or maybe you're just talking about going from stage 20 to stage 24, or maybe even stage 25 on a dungeon, or maybe pushing into hard mode because, you know, once you're at stage 25, getting into hard mode is just more efficient anyway. So don't forget about doing some of the classic dungeons. I know I have talked a bit about how the classic dungeons, the gear is not necessarily the most meta thing out there, but there's some okay sets in here, and it definitely helps to have decent gear from these dungeons because it's still not like useless. It's gear. Good stats on gear will find uses on champions, particularly when you have to have more champions built, as we have hard faction wars coming and we have Centranos continuing to evolve. There's plenty of reasons to keep more champions geared or to have champions that have good-ish gear, even if it's not your top gear, and then save your top gear for your best champions. Finally, one of the reminders of things that honestly I so rarely do that it's actually affected my free-to-play a little bit. My free-to-play, I avoid farming the potion keeps, and I finally had to break down and spend a bunch of money in Arcane Keep, and I had to do it in the Spirit Keep as well on that account. And a lot of that's because I'm just not beating the highest level content consistently where I'm getting all of that stuff, combined with the fact that I'm building more champions on my free-to-play than I am on my main account for the most part. That said, if you're low on potions, now is a better time to farm them than later on when, oops, I need these potions to be able to finish this fusion. I better farm them the moment this opens, or worse yet, I may have to spend 200 gems to open a potion keep that I don't want to open just to get, you know, those extra potions that I couldn't get otherwise because I didn't farm them at a time I probably should have. So, you know, keep track of your potions, make sure that you're in good shape with them, make sure you don't have too many. Now, the Arcane Keep is one of the few where I recommend event, don't bother farming the arcane keep unless you know you absolutely need a bunch of that stuff. It's not a bad thing to farm a bit ahead of time if you know you're going to need to do the training, but arcane keep being open all the time makes it fairly easy. But if you know you're low on spirit potions, then maybe you might just go and farm some spirit keep early on. Doesn't hurt. There are plenty of other ways to get potions, so you don't need to farm a lot of these most of the time, but every once in a while it's worth dumping a little bit of energy in there depending on where your account is. So that's my take on things that you can do when we're not really, doing an event. It kind of sounds like, hey, just go play the game. Well, yeah, it kind of is. But sometimes there are specific areas that are just kind of hard to focus on when you're so deep in the throes of a fusion. Your champion training, well, champion training you can do all the time, but Minotaur is kind of hard to do in a champion training tournament if you don't have tons of resources to be able to do the champion training easily otherwise. So, it's something that can be very easily overlooked. And I know on my free to play, I was behind on running masteries on several champions. And so I finally buckled down and ran some masteries on several champions. I also 6-starred a few extra champions on my free to play since the fusion has been finished. And it's been a good time to actually invest in champions. Now, with a traditional fusion or even a hybrid fusion, a little less for a fragment fusion, you may suddenly have a brand new champion you want to invest in. Well, it's a good a time as any to build them during this lull period while you're kind of waiting for what's the next major event to drop. And again, sometimes you don't have to do the fusion. Sometimes a fusion is just not what you need to do on that account. Either the champion's not going to help your account, or you just don't have the resources to invest in that fusion. Well, that's fine. Then you circle the wagons, you start saving some of your shards, you maybe start saving some of your other stuff, but that doesn't mean that you can just kind of let the energy waste away. Use it to farm things that are good, use it to get your masteries done, and spend some time playing the game and doing some of the other stuff that can be actually fun, but oftentimes is just 1-time or 2-time content as well. So Doom Tower, you get your Doom Tower stuff done, climb in Doom Tower, maybe get some of those secret rooms done while you got a little bit of time. Who knows? Just invest your time well in Raid, and you'll find that it'll actually save you time later on where you're not struggling because you don't have masteries on a champion, so they're not doing what you'd like them to do, or maybe they're not performing as well as you might like them to perform because they don't have the masteries, or maybe you just, hey, I'm trying to focus on this particular fusion, so I don't have time to focus on Doom Tower. It's a good thing I spent all that time refining my Doom Tower teams when I didn't have to worry about that. And then it becomes something you can just automate in the background, and in some cases not even pay attention to it, like have it running on your phone in the background while you're doing something else. So, don't be afraid to spend a little bit of time now to not have to spend a lot of time in Raid in the future. And if you prioritize things correctly, you'll find that Raid will be a much more enjoyable experience. So hey, let me know what you guys like to do when it's, downtime and you pretty much have your own way about what you can do. When there's not a fusion or a Titan event or something like that that you are participating in, what do you just kind of like to chill and do in Raid? Do you enjoy testing the dungeons out? Do you enjoy building new champions and trying them out? Do you enjoy putting masteries on your champions to make your count a little bit better? Or, maybe you just kind of let things run in the background, just do your dailies and be done with it and hoard resources. That's a perfectly legitimate solution as well. Let me know. I'm actually kind of interested in what you guys do. Let me know if you liked the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all the support. You guys are absolutely amazing. Much love, and until the next video, I'm Bront CatHerder.